and stopped and held my hands up to a police car and asked them to stop and motioned them over to what was going on, and they just cut a path around me and just kept going.
Officials say that since police lacked enough manpower to arrest organizers of the violence last weekend, there are now posts such as this on social media boasting that Part 2 will convene this Saturday at various points downtown.
It was just absolutely random. We didn't know anybody. We were just trying to walk through a group of people.
Caught up in a mob, 2 out-of-towners sharing their story after being beaten by teens downtown on Saturday.
A key part of the story, the Good Samaritan who stepped in to help.
Anthony Passe is live with more tonight. Anthony?
Yes, Corey, and on this the attack happened here on the 100 block of North Wabash Avenue Saturday night. It could have ended way worse had it not been for the intervention of a truly good Samaritan who says that the video of this attack that went viral over the weekend really only captures the tail end of what she describes as an absolutely brutal attack. The victims here, a couple visiting from out of town. They're in their early 20s, staying at an Airbnb. They were out to dinner, just trying to enjoy their night.
We were just downtown in Chicago trying to shop, trying to get some food. And we were walking down the street, and there was a really big group of guys, a really big group of people.
And girls.
Yeah, guys and girls. And, DJ had my hand, and he was trying to lead me through the crowd of people. And they pushed him, they pushed me. And as soon as they pushed me, I told DJ, I said, hey, they just shoved me.
The mob attack happened right near Macy's Wabash Street entrance.
And it was a mob of about 60 to 100 people.
They said they're going to kill us. They turned around and, started fighting,
They were shoeless. They didn't have they were looking for their phones, but it was no point because the phones had been taken away.
Both the victims and Lenora Dennis, the woman who came to their aid, say that several Chicago police officers passed by but did not intervene.
Cops drove right by it, act like they didn't see anything.
I literally went out into the street and stopped and held my hands up to a police car and asked them to stop and motioned them over to what was going on. And they just cut a path around me and just kept going.
She was eventually able to get the couple into her car. Then she drove them to the police station.
Got told by the desk sergeant that this was going to happen. It was going to keep happening because Brandon Johnson got elected. That floored me.
An ambulance then took them to the hospital, but the couple was without their phones, wallets, and shoes, which had all been stolen during the attack.
I told the couple that I was going to go home to find them some shoes so that they wouldn't be barefoot for the rest of the night.
Her name is Lenora.
Wow. She gave us shoes, took us home, took us to the hospital.
Her husband as well.
Thank you.
Let's do unto others. And that's a mantra that I live by every day, is just do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Teens ran rampant downtown this weekend. Who is in charge?
If we have that convention and violence is allowed to reign on our streets once again, we can't afford to take that chance.
One city council veteran warns that outbursts of downtown violence like we saw last weekend threaten to do enormous damage to Chicago's tourism and hospitality industry. It was the city's largest private employer before the pandemic.
Our political editor, Mike Flannery, joins us now with more. Michael?
Anthony and Natalie, Alderman Brian Hopkins notes the social media that summoned hundreds of young people to 3 consecutive nights of chaos last Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are now promising a Part 2 this weekend. Alderman Ray Lopez says police cannot afford to be taken by surprise again.
And it was a complete breakdown of leadership in the department for not having a plan, not knowing how to execute containment, and not getting those individuals who were committed to acts of violence and disrupting life in the city of Chicago, extricating them from the situation.
The 15th Ward's Lopez and other officials say that since police lacked enough manpower to arrest organizers of the violence last weekend, there are now posts such as this on social media boasting that Part 2 will convene this Saturday at various points downtown. The downtown Second Ward's Brian Hopkins notes that tens of thousands of jobs are at stake in hotels, restaurants, and entertainment venues, many of whose patrons are already reluctant to come downtown, especially in the evening. He wants police and State's Attorney Kim Foxx to use every tool they have.
And those tools have to include a willingness to arrest and prosecute dangerous violent offenders when they engage in mob activity that causes harm and injury to other people. They did loot the Walgreens at one point on State and Madison. We know about the injuries. We know at least 4 shots fired incidents resulted in 2 gunshot victims, one age 16 and one age 17. A lot of armed robberies, a lot of strong armed robberies, and several police officers injured, by the way.
So Chicago police hopefully will be better prepared this weekend. If there is more trouble, there may not be. Instead of temperatures in the 70s, this weekend's weather forecast includes chilly rain, and that always keeps the crowds down. I'm political editor Mike Flannery.